This episode is educationally spicy.
Hey, it's Trevor Papi Chulo Dow.
And it's Kevin Goodboy DeCamp.
And this is VTV, the definitive podcast for all things LGBT travel,
pop culture,
and where we share diverse perspectives from members within our community. Hi, Kev.
Hello.
How are you doing on this fine afternoon?
It's so good. How are you doing?
I'm feeling real spicy, actually.
We have a spicy couple of cutie guests.
Jamie and Austin were a couple of guests at our Mexico resort. I will say that they are kind of like my hope for what VACAYA can be for all people within our community. They are a cis and trans couple, and they've been together for a while, and they are such incredibly kind, sweet, open books. And when I tell you that, like, while we were doing the interview, I just was like, I felt so comfortable just talking and sharing because they are forward thinking, I feel like, and I felt like I got to really learn a whole lot about ethical non-monogamy, trans issues, what the red light district can be and feels like when you are not just a cis man.
We don't get often enough time to talk to guests, so this was a very special thing, and it made me be like, I would totally hang out with them. Like,
oh, absolutely.
This is a pioneer we have on this interview.
Of a pioneer.
You'll hear it in how their red light district experience is much different and generous in how helping people navigate their body and how to explore their body. So it was so enlightening to me for that reason. I was like, oh, that is hot. It is hot to like know how to make you feel good. And that confidence is also very attractive.
Oh, is that a cue to anyone watching at home that confidence is sexy?
Yeah.
What is like one or two of your top favorite like things that you find most attractive in someone?
I think when I see someone being calm, when people are like centered, that's sexy to me.
So that's why you're so attracted to me.
Oh my God.
Calmness. I think that's a good thing. 100%.
What's attractive to you when just talking to somebody, maybe?
And what I'm discovering is that I have some things I have to work through when it comes to trust emotionally and physically and sexually. When someone makes me feel safe, there's nothing that can compare.
So someone that makes you feel safe and someone wearing that Joella costume with just the face cut out.
Yeah, when someone looks like a mattress, then I'm definitely turned on because I'm like, I could lay on you.
Everything's there. That's everything you need.
So if you emit safety and I can lay on you, baby, call me, slide into the DMs because
you heard that
I am
here,
officially
Joella.
Single at the moment. Also, something that was interesting for me is I don't necessarily identify as bisexual, but I do identify as pansexual. And we discussed what it's like to kind of navigate these mostly gay spaces as pansexual people. And I thought that was a really great perspective to share. When you hear guests saying like, yes, I identify this way and there's space for me and it feels comfortable, to me, that is like the ultimate compliment. Because truly, I think that we've had to go from gay spaces being very secretive to then being able to be out in public, but they're very sacred. And now we're trying to like create and evolve those spaces to where they feel safe and welcoming to all people within our community, and we don't have to have as many segregated spaces.
And there's a lot of unpacking of layers of like, okay, because we had to hide for so long, there's this like shoving down of emotions and this shame we have on things. So our communication doesn't necessarily translate all the time into what our needs are in these spaces. Yeah. So like we at VACAYA are trying to redefine what that looks like as far as the practice of what it means to be like sexy in these spaces. Because for me, I don't want to go in a space that has people that aren't going to abide by like a level of decency. And I think that's what VACAYA does really well is like, we're like, hey, everyone who's going to these spaces, this is the expectation.
Yeah, for sure.
Because we want everyone to feel welcome. Yeah. Just like Jamie and Austin.
Let's deep dive into this spicy, sexy interview with Jamie and Austin.
Get ready to bite your lip.
Ew, gross. Hi everyone, it's Trevor.
And Kevin.
And today we are joined by two very special VACAYA guests, as well as travel extraordinaires, Jamie and Austin. Hi, welcome to the podcast.
Hi there.
Hello.
Thanks for having us.
Would you mind just letting the listeners, viewers know a little bit about both of you, your pronouns, how you identify, and kind of your relationship to one another and how you know each other?
This is a simple question.
Yeah, super
Right.
simple.
Simple question with 2 follow-ons.
Yeah.
I'm Jamie, she, her pronouns. This is my second VACAYA first resort trip. Let's see, I met Austin on the internet 7 years ago, just shy of 7 years ago.
Oh.
Austin, he, him. Bi-pan is how I identify. Yes. First resort trip. Second VACAYA trip. So this has been great so far. I'm really enjoying it.
It's nice to have. I also identify as pan, and every time we've had like more pan bisexual guests on these trips, it's just so exciting because that is truly the goal, and it's always feels a little bit like the silent group, you know. So I'm very grateful that you both are here, which is why it was so important to have you on the podcast.
No, thanks for having us. Yeah, it was great. We've actually met another bi couple here, which we were honestly our first time. We were a little bit concerned because your background was not, in the gay
I was
community
straight
at
white man for
all.
31 years.
Yeah.
Before
you transitioned. And so our first one, the Polynesian cruise, we were kind of like, we don't know how this is going to be. Is she going to be comfortable?
Yeah.
Right.
But so welcoming, so awesome. And yeah, it was great to come back on the second one and find, more of the other letters in our alphabet. Yeah, in our community for sure.
Was the decision to do the Polynesia cruise as like that was your first kind of all LGBT travel experience?
Together.
Together.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I had done other ones before. I was very destination focused for my travel. So it was much like, here's where I want to go. And then I would just look around, like,
See what's
are
available.
there any queer ones available? If not, I'll do the normie ones. That's how I found VACAYA. And yeah, now we've drank in the Kool-Aid and it's fantastic. So
Right.
Yum, yum, yum.
Well, this is very different than the Bora Bora one for a lot of reasons. One,
Yes.
you're not traveling 7 sea days to
Yeah.
get to your destination. You're just kind of plopped on this beautiful resort. Do you have any ways to distinguish the two, like resorts versus like something like the small ship Polynesia cruise that you experienced?
yeah, I mean, nice that your hotel room moves with you, obviously, and you get to sample a lot more different places. For the resort stay, it's nice that everything is here, everything is provided. And I was actually surprised about the excursions for a resort. I was like, because that's my favorite part about doing the cruise ships. I like to do the planning. I like to do the stuff in advance. So yeah, having the excursions in both was a surprise, and I enjoyed that.
And are you satisfied with the excursions that were chosen, or what's the say you have in this?
No, for sure. I enjoyed the excursions. It was a little bit like we opted for some high adventure, some zip lining.
Yes.
No way.
And that was really fun. And I think just like one of the biggest differences of the two is that this was only 7 nights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
God,
how
the
long we
length
were
was- yeah.
away from land on the boat.
Yeah, right.
So,
oh my gosh.
So just vastly different. I felt like the kind of progression was rapidly accelerated here. Like it was only a couple days in when you stop caring about how much you have for lunch.
Yeah.
Like that's week 2 on a cruise.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
But no, yeah. And I think, I don't know, like there's just a different vibe when your room is right there kind of attached to the pool that you're hanging out in. Because it's like on the boat, you've got that whole walk back to your room.
Right.
Down those corridors. And so it's just kind of like a little bit more flowy in and out of places.
You feel like jumping off of that, like you kind of get into it a lot faster here because there's only 7 days versus like the 3 weeks. Did you feel like that also related to how quickly people were interacting and mingling as well? Or do you feel like because you were on a small ship, you're like, okay, well, I guess I've seen everybody that's here within the first 2 days versus like here, because this resort's a little bit more spread out, you're like, oh, wait.
Yeah, where'd you come from?
Yeah, where'd you come from?
Were you
There's
here
a
the whole
little-
time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, this is still really intimate. I think there's 200
Yes.
rooms or units or something
it's
like
still,
that. So it's still, just slightly bigger. But I guess, and then what's challenging for myself as well is this is now the second time. So it's like, okay, right. Whereas on that first cruise, I'm just like, all right, am I just going to be a token trans person on a gay male boat?
Yeah.
And then finding out, no, I actually can assert myself and be very welcomed in places. And so it was like a little bit easier, just kind of jump straight into like more of the fun stuff than to just be too concerned about.
Oh, that's great to hear.
Should I dip my toe in or not? So I don't know. Yeah.
I know. And one of the differences I was thinking of when you mentioned that too was just the dinners experience on the cruise and having that be open and just like come when you can and you'll get seated with whoever. I think that was really fantastic to be able to get to know people really rapidly in the beginning.
Sure.
Whereas in the resort scenario, it does feel a little bit like I have to go introduce myself, or I'll go up into the dining hall and they'll just be like 1, 2. I'm like, I'll sit with like a table of 4.
Oh, interesting.
But that wasn't the like normal thing.
But that's I mean, as a suggestion, I think that's kind of
that's a good one.
Yeah,
great
that
one.
might be a good one. I mean,
Yeah.
it's been great, and a lot of normie cruises do not run their dining halls that way at all, and it's one of my favorite things about how VACAYA ran.
Yeah.
It, so.
Ooh, good point.
and once again, it can be optional. You know, it's like,
Right.
do you want to, and they can mark a table to be like, yes, this is a table that is to be filled up and like welcome any other people that
Right.
might want to like mix and mingle. But if you don't want that and you need to have like a little alone time or just be with yourself or your group, you can.
Yeah, totally.
How do you two handle like alone time? Would you consider either yourselves like introverts, or like how do you feel like you balance your equilibrium between each other?
I'm
on
the
these
introvert
trips?
for sure. So she's the extrovert, and I get to just glom onto her going around and socializing with people.
Right.
So it's fantastic for me. We still do appreciate our alone time. I like having the space in the room. That'll be my chill spot.
Oh, okay.
For the most part. Other than that, there's occasional, go lay out in the sun. Take a chill.
Yeah, there are ways to find what you need.
Pockets of quiet, yes.
Yeah.
I appreciate the pockets of quiet for sure.
I feel like
Right.
that's you. I socialize. I'm like,
Yeah, no, there's some yin and yang going on for sure, right? We balance each other out well. And then ever since we met, we've been practicing ethical non-monogamy. And so one of the kind of necessary skills in that practice is to use calendars. So even on these VACAYA resorts, it's like, as I find those pockets to drag him into for various, like, oh, we're doing dinner with them, and oh, we're gonna go tanning with these people. We'll still like update our calendar and like send invites to each other about like, oh, the interview's at 11 on Saturday. So it's like we were sure to be here on time.
Yeah.
Wow. And that's updating kind of as things progress.
Oh yeah, yeah. You kind of map out
that's
who
good.
am I going to do, and then again, like these really kind of smaller. We haven't done any of the big boat stuff yet.
yeah.
Excited
like
to
you
do
will-
that.
yeah,
I would
I feel like
enjoy
you'll
that.
thrive,
But
yeah.
it's a whole different
Yes.
kind of ethos to vacationing, where it's like this time has been great to kind of like reconnect with people that we met on the intimate boat, but there it was like so accessible to anybody, like whether it was like, hey Randall, can we try to have dinner together one of these nights and just kind of connect. They had women's only table night, we got the whole center table, and so it's great, and just being able to like it's the introvert and extrovert balance of being reminded that I too need to recharge.
It's like, you are burnt out. Can
Right.
you please go take a nap?
Go lay down, Jamie. It's good.
Like, we like to use the term halt. It's hungry, angry, lonely, tired. So if you are any of those things, you most likely need to
halt?
take some time to. Yes,
Right.
you need to halt. So it's like, you're looking a little halty. You want to take a chill pill. Go take
Wait,
a nap.
say those 5 things again. HALT
Hungry.
stands for.
Yeah, hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. Other people keep extending that one. Horny is another one.
I mean,
That'll be our Sesame Street segment. Today's
Right.
word is halt.
if you feel comfortable with it, and if not, we don't have to. But for people that are watching that don't know what ethical non-monogamy is, would you mind just talking a little bit about what that is, or how
How do you two celebrate
define
that?
it? Yeah, how do you
Yeah,
define it and celebrate it?
Sure. We kind of like ethical non-monogamy or consensual non-monogamy is the bigger umbrella. Lots of flavors of that. We tend a little bit towards more polyamorous.
Yeah.
Ourselves. I have a partner back home. Michael, we've been together for 14 years.
Nice.
Jamie and I have been together for 7. You have, previous life of like wife and kids and stuff.
Wow.
And currently going through a process right now to change
Process.
that.
Yeah. I'll continue to have the children.
Of course.
That's amazing. Wow.
But yeah, and then beyond that, calendaring is you need calendars for that kind of thing.
And was that something you and your partner,
Michael, yeah.
had you been ethically non-monogamous your whole relationship, or was that something that you then had conversations about at some point and then opened it up to just being like only a sexual thing, and then it was like, actually I need to have allow myself to have emotional connections with these other people that I'm seeing as well? What was that process like?
Fortunately I met Michael in the context of dating another person at the same time, so I was exploring that with that other boyfriend at the time, but Michael and I from the very beginning were very much like, hey, this is how we identify, this is how we intend to do relationships, and once that other relationship ended, Michael and I just kept talking, and ended up becoming partners for a long time, and it's been great. So
that's awesome. And what's really cool is that you're able to communicate like, well, this is something that I feel like me and Jamie would really enjoy, and we'll do together. And then you have like that differentiation of, this is what we do together, and this is what feels good in this partnership. This is what feels good.
I have a question. Does ethical non-monogamy and polyamory, are they like Venn diagrams that overlap in some ways? Are they not related necessarily in some instances?
I think that they are related. Consensual non-monogamy is kind of the bigger bucket. You got swingers are in there. Anyone that you're having fun with, multiple people. Maybe there's don't ask, don't tell kind of things. You're having relationships outside, but you don't talk about it.
Yeah.
The polyamory flavor for me is just that, like, everyone's aware, everyone's consenting to this. We're all talking about it, and romantic relationships are a part of that. There's all kinds of big umbrellas and niches and overlaps that, there's a funny Venn diagram you can go look up online.
Okay.
It's
looks like a plate of spaghetti.
Yeah, it looks a little bit like a plate of spaghetti.
Yeah, because there's a lot of different little things that overlap in specific areas.
That's what God looks like to me, is a spaghetti monster. So.
But it's interesting because like some certain people will make certain associations or jump to conclusions if you just lead with saying like, I'm polyamorous.
Yeah.
Like they'll just expect that, oh, we're looking for another person to add to this
Our
relationship.
dynamic,
Sure.
And that's something that we're open to have happen, but
it isn't the focus.
It's not the focus. It's about like just identifying, hey, this connection is feeding me in certain ways. And traditional relationships might think of that as like, oh, you're emotionally cheating, or you're getting too attached, or that particular physical activity is limited to this relationship. So those are the kind of things that we're avoiding. And just saying like, the way that I see it is that I am just like a kid, but I'm older and have better toys. And I don't understand why I should be limited by which of my friends I can play with what toys with. If we both want to use it, let's use it, right? Having it just be like kind of kitchen table, it's really convenient to just be able to talk about like my other partners with this partner, and not have to like dance around like who can hear what about what, which I totally respect. That works for some people. But for my world, it's just like, I just want to... Yeah.
It's easier to be honest.
Right.
Yeah.
And then if you target other bisexual people, it's just like it makes that other conversation that much easier. Like, right. What are you doing this afternoon? Because we're free.
Okay, can I ask about that? Do you all play together? Is there any stipulations you both have? And
how
then
do you talk, like,
if you want to
rules,
if you want to blend that into any experiences you'd like to share about RLD on this trip.
Sure.
Lead.
No, go ahead.
You want to top this one?
No.
No? All right.
Jamie, top it.
Top it.
So, I mean, so the way that we've approached consensual non-monogamy is really kind of like we have boundaries and we try to communicate those about this is how I treat my autonomy and my body and the implications of, trust violations or something like that.
Okay.
So really, as far as rules are concerned, we don't have any. We also are operating in a space where like there's certain barriers that we use for certain sex acts to limit the spread of disease or infection. But aside from that, it's kind of like, I'm excited if you find somebody that really knows how to play with that toy with you together, like
Go for it.
do it. I want to hear about it. Or better, get it on tape.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds fun.
But I just keep going back to that, like, hey, I met this person. We have these common interests that happens to be a sexual interest.
Right.
And it just kind of works that way. Just you have the communication, you have the conversation.
Exactly. And sometimes that works out great and we do end up someone that's interested in both of us and we'll really enjoy that time together or another couple or group or whatever. But yeah, it doesn't have to work that way. Right. We want it to be dynamic and just it's a conversation. Everyone has their own. Yeah, exactly.
So there's been a little bit of challenges with our ability to stay up late and the red light district's ability to open before we want to go to sleep.
So we need an earlier shift for the red light district.
Can there
maybe.
be like
a
a
red light
matinee?
What about a happy hour? Like a red light district happy hour,
right?
Instead
With
of the
tapas
afternoon
and everything.
Yeah. Well, do they have V dances? Can they have
Oh my god, there should be a red light district V dance.
Yes, afternoon. Yeah,
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Oh,
Some of us need to nap and then espresso and then it's been very welcoming. I think this there's a correlation to like the question about how am I going to navigate this space?
sure.
Similar.
Not that am I going to be welcome, but also am I going to be interruptive or counter, like taking away from someone else's enjoyability.
Right.
And I've never actually received that feedback. Actually, to the contrary, the opposite. We've kind of approached like, well, let's move into this space, and I don't know which of these people are bisexual or open to maybe something other out of the norm
than a
for
cis
their
male experience. Sure.
Exactly. So it's just kind of like move into that space and
we just kind of make our own fun.
Right.
I don't know exactly how this space is going to receive it, but I understand it's open for us to experience. And so that's what's been nice is we've just gone in and started doing our own thing. And then the people interested come to us, which has been nice. Because again, we don't want to walk up to something and try to insert ourselves into something that other people may not want to do.
Right.
But to, just be able to go in and do what we want to do and see who else is interested in it.
Right.
And then also being the catalyst for ideally, hopefully other people that might feel the same way as you to go, oh, okay.
Right.
We call it a VACAYA. You're a pioneer in a VACAYA sense, a VACAYA. So you're VACAYA like that space to now, ideally, for another couple that might not just be a cis gay male couple, because the red light district is not a space that is just for that one subgroup of our community. Like many spaces, cis gay men occupy the majority of it, which now that's kind of the whole. From the moment you step foot into a VACAYA experience, the moment you're in the red light district to the time you're at the dance or to when you're having dinner and sitting at a table, hopefully that table is not just all looking the same as, like the idea is for it to truly be inclusive. And so like, ideally when, the next just cis gay male couple that goes into the red light district won't feel the same way because there'll have already been some steps in progress towards being like, no, this is a space. Like, this is something that I didn't even know.
I didn't know this was on the menu.
Yes.
Right. No, that's definitely has occurred, right? Of like, this is something I wouldn't seek out, but I've been curious, and it helps that I'm extroverted and
you're
have the spoons, the emotional capacity to have those kind of conversations.
Yeah.
But no, it's kind of. Yes, VACAYA if you want to, but spearheading, making it more approachable to people who traditionally maybe not seeking that out.
Do you have any tips for like maneuvering that space between like?
Is there a way
both
that
of
you
you
like,
are probably approach it differently, and what you're seeking and what you're open to. So, I mean, I don't know if you're open to like tell me like how you navigate that space.
or how do you find? And this isn't to.
I guess you both kind of enter together and then play and then kind of organically see what happens. Would you say?
Yeah, I think so, and especially if you are, more. I guess right, like we're heteronormative presenting, if you will,
Sure.
in some
Yes,
ways.
yes.
And so if you are, I would say, and that's the challenge, I think, is like we said, people are concerned about interrupting a space, but I feel like you do kind of have to go in and own it a little bit.
Yeah.
Right.
You have
For
to take charge
sure.
of what you want, understanding that this space is truly open to you, and just kind of go from there. That's really the best
okay.
advice I can have.
That's
Like,
good.
go set your intention. What do you want to do?
Right.
And then go
Not
in
make
and,
it about them. Make it about
yes, yeah.
Right.
yourself.
Really
which you
try not to
should.
worry about what else is going on. Yeah. What do you want to seek out? And sometimes that can involve other people too. And then it is just a matter
Right.
of like, you got to go up and talk to people.
Right.
And I think that's the other challenge is, a lot of the cis gay male spaces, there is less of that talking
Yes.
as a part of it.
Yeah.
And so that is different for everyone sometimes when you're going into those spaces where that's the majority. You just kind of got to be like, well, I'm going to talk. And
Right.
every time I've done it, it's been great. It's been
Right.
fine. People get used
Ooh,
to it.
that's a
Yeah.
good
Either you're going to
discussion.
have a good conversation, you're going to engage. Like, so there's two responses I think that people have. If you're watching someone have sex and then they look at you, make eye contact and start talking to you about like, do you want to participate? You're either going to get scared and go away, or you're going to be like, oh, this is chill. Like, this is like, I'm just talking to somebody.
They're welcoming
and,
me
like,
into the space, and now I'm getting to really decide whether or not that's something I want to
Exactly.
do.
Right. It's like they're just as afraid of you as you are of them kind of situation. Like, just like own it, like as you said.
No, but it was very respectful. Like we ended
Yeah.
up with a bit of an audience at one point when
Yeah.
we were there
Ooh,
earlier.
yeah.
And I just kind of pointed and was like, come join us if you're
You.
interested.
Right.
Yeah, like come over.
Right.
So yeah.
Right.
Wait, what were you gonna say?
Oh no, just very similar experience. Like the first night that we went this week, it was more just like we were demonstrating our own act of love. And then what's also really kind of fun about that too is like the next day, out in weird contexts, you'll just have people kind of pull you out and be like, we saw you, it was beautiful. Just to see that going on.
my God,
But then the
yes.
second night you show up, and I think people then are like, oh, this is maybe more approachable.
Yeah.
And then I think it also just like understand what headspace you're in. I don't know. We're both
Ooh, good
versatile,
point.
right?
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
take turns. And then sometimes like that'll impact like where my head is at.
Sure,
Will impact what I
totally.
want to do.
Yeah.
So as mentioned, like the second night I brought my strap on, right?
Yes.
That was a dynamic I was feeling. And that I think also generated some more attention as well. Yeah. But
Everyone's like, "Ooh, what's this?"
what is this? Yeah.
But I think you mentioned something that's a good point. I really love that VACAYA is cultivating that space with the red light district, and then you still have accountability. You're still gonna
Yes.
see these people around
Yes.
you, and have those
Ooh,
things
good
where you're
point.
like, even if you're like, okay, I'm not in this red light space, gonna do that, but I now know I can ask people about stuff outside of that space, and that's not necessarily something you would get in a city,
Right, at like
normally.
a one-off kind of sexy
Event or
party or
bath house,
event
yeah.
or something like
Mhm.
that. That is true. I think for some people there is a relearning of like, okay, well this is what this kind of space is. It's not what I'm expecting it to be. And then accountability for like coming back and being like, okay, well I need to, my behavior will be remembered.
Yes.
And people will treat me differently. It's not just like a one-off event. It seems like what you're describing is another
A nuance space where
it's like
both is necessary.
redefining what a darkroom space is versus like a sex party space. This is kind of like a hybrid of it. And having a space within the space where you can see people and talk instead of it just being billed as, well, people are only like hooking up or being sexual here. People are actually also cultivating like relationships and
Right.
connections and seeing what that feels like, so that you then have the option to be like, oh, well, there is this sling right over here.
Right.
Do we want to take it from over here to over here?
We can
Right.
see that there's a sling here.
No,
Right.
for sure. That
No,
would
I
be-
literally the other night it was like, oh, hi neighbor, right?
Yeah.
Can I put my face there?
Yeah.
Right. Come on in.
Yes.
Right.
I hope that there are more people that relate to it than not. But the experience of your past life as, that straight cis male to now exploring LGBT spaces and then it also in that relationship, were you monogamous, like doing the whole heteronormative experience, and then was the shift to like polyamory and
Yeah, what was that shift like?
Yeah.
E&M?
Yeah, no. So, I mean, my story, I think, right. I guess the feedback to the U.S. culture, I guess, would be like,
Yes, great way of putting it.
like representation is really important, right? I spent 30 years just kind of understanding that this was a script that was presented to me as a pansexual or as a bisexual, born with all of the privileges. I'm tall, I'm educated, I'm white, I'm male. I'm upper middle class, right? All of the things going for me. I didn't really have much to rebel against. And so my journey to transness, or to accept like more, who I am, was very slow. But in hindsight, these things of like, I realized I was trans through stumbling upon Reddit's trans timelines and seeing people like me, like in their 30s, discover or finally admit, like, I need to act. I'm going to change my body to be more,
congruous,
right? Congruent with like who I feel I am. But yeah, so like I was doing the straight white male thing, right? I had a wife, I had 2 children, I owned a house, I had 2 cars, and I felt completely empty. And so then starting to see these other individuals living out a different world, a different life for themselves, and be represented, right?
Yeah.
There's no Disney movie about, right, the trans woman, right? There's
but I
no
can't wait
Disney
for that.
movie about like Snow White literally having multiple relationships with these dwarves. The dwarves were probably having relationships with each other too, right? So
they all
that's
lived
just
in
a
that house
beautiful
together.
backdrop for polyamory. It just was not utilized.
I wasn't expecting the Snow White
Snow White is
dissection.
polyamorous. You heard it here first on BTV, you guys.
It's legit. I think it is just one of those things like, seeing examples of it. And this even ties back into the red light district a little bit of just like saying, hey, I can own this. I can go be representative of, there are queer hetero-presenting couples that really just do want a third or a fourth or a fifth for a tryst, or maybe more, right?
Yeah.
I love it when my boyfriends have sex with each other and me at the same time.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
Why don't I see that on HBO? So yeah, I guess that's the
You
feedback.
heard it,
It's like-
HBO.
Well, but it is. It's
Right.
like it's the examples were not. I use this word, I feel like, quite a bit during the course of this podcast, but unlearning. Like, you were taught that your life will look and should look and needs to look like this.
Success looks like this.
And then it's
And you're saying, I did
I
that.
succeeded.
You
I won at
succeeded.
being a white man. I won. I had all the things, and it wasn't fulfilling, right? So where are those other options presented to you? Like, as like, no, there's actually many ways to be a productive contributor to society and have
and also be
and
your
be
authentic
yourself.
self.
Yes, and have a fulfilling self life as well, right? That looks very different for different adults, and I think it's just the more opportunity we can see different people having ethical, good, meaningful lives, doing things that aren't just I'm breeding with this one person, right? I think would be fantastic.
Yeah. So you both have known each other for 7 years. At when did you meet in your transition period? Was this
when was the
was
Reddit
Austin kind of the first
happening?
person that you had established like a
Austin was the first boy I kissed. and many other firsts.
Oh my gosh.
Austin's given me a very jaded view into what internet dating looks like.
I had been practicing polyamory for 10 years before we met. So I'd been in a throuple. I've been doing all that mostly in gay male spaces.
Right.
But yeah. Yep.
And it was touch and go there for a second because, you also wasn't super interested in being someone's like educator.
Sure.
As to like, oh, this is your first polyamorous relationship? Great. I'll be a dictionary or an encyclopedia for you.
No.
Was not his jam.
I had a previous experience where that was what I had to do with a partner. I realized it was one of those like, no, you need to figure this out for yourself. You can't just take like, I am sharing what I know, but that's true for me.
Right. And what is going to be true for you is different.
Right. Exactly. And so it's one of those like, I shared some resources, right? There are books, there are podcasts, there are all kinds of things about it. And that was what was great is once I shared that, like you ran with it, you educated yourself, and then we could just have those conversations about those books and podcasts and things like that. And it made it easier. Because that's been a red flag for me ever since. As soon as someone's not willing to like take it upon themselves to go learn if this is something they really want, I can't be the one to dictate everything.
Well, would either of you recommend any sources for someone interested to learning?
He just said he doesn't want to do that, but Kevin wants you to.
No, because you mentioned podcasts and books.
Totally, absolutely.
I don't know if there's any that pop into mind.
I mean, there's a podcast that we've both been Patreon supporters for a long while called Multiamory. They still every week have something comes out. It's great. They also have written a couple of different books.
The Smart Girl's Guide to Polyamory is their first one.
Right.
And the second one I think is
it's just self-titled Multiamory. It's a whole bunch of their tools.
It's Multiamory, and it has a subtitle of all their tools for modern relationships. Right, is what it calls. Yeah.
But then there's a lot of like staples. Right. There's some problematic author issues with The Ethical Slut.
Oh, right.
A little bit, but The Ethical Slut is still a good starting place.
The message there is good.
Sure. Maybe there'll be a section of the red light district where it's like, for those who like to be filmed.
That would be great.
This room.
Well, but touching on like circling back to that idea of like doing like a red light happy hour, like having the red light district have events as well. You know, like if you're into being filmed, like here's like, an evening or an afternoon or whatever, where it's like that's then celebrating that aspect of sex or intimacy and like so.
Yeah, I mean, when we throw our own play parties, that's usually how we start, is the first half hour or so is like, hey, let's have some drinks and chat in this, like, here's the space that we're going to be occupying, but let's have some little introductory chats, and then, it's time, and we move on.
Right. That's literally what Kevin did.
You always walk into Red Light District with a little bit of fantasy, like,
sure,
God, wouldn't it be great if this happened? Right?
Yes.
Well, you can all get together and just share those things of like, it'd be great to end up spit roasted at some point. Somebody's going to hear that, and they might just be willing to be one of the ends for you.
Yes.
Exactly.
If you have a little like social pocket at the beginning and set that intention of like, maybe you all are chatting a little bit about like, hey, what are your boundaries? And then what are your interests? What are you excited about experiencing?
Welcome to Trevor's tutorial on how to bite your lip in a sexy, flirtatious way. First, you want to kind of make eye contact. Then you want to close your mouth, but still have a little bit of air in between the lips.
Okay.
And then you want to take that upper set of teeth, if you have them, and just bite down on that lower lip a little bit.
What if you have a big fat lower lip?
Like you? Well, then just just get the tip. And then a little bit of quiver.
I feel insane.
And then open it up and take a breath. Not that big of a breath. Not hold your breath. Okay, now put all of those into action. 3, 2, 1. And then you can always do a little like hair over the ear, even if you don't have any hair there, and a giggle.
Got it.
All right, let's jump into the interview. Jamie and Austin, are you ready to play a game?
Yes.
It sounds like Saw. Okay, Austin.
Yes.
What is a travel item that Jamie can't travel without? 1, 2, 3, reveal.
Laundry detergent.
Condoms.
Oh,
This is fair. This is fair. This is fair.
This is
so
fair.
accurate.
Yes. Oh, very accurate.
But the laundry
it doesn't even matter which bag I have. I guarantee you I have one. I have
Condoms somewhere.
I
with
was
me.
first going to write down multiple bags, but then I had to write one thing. I'm like, well, the one thing in all of your bags is condoms.
Right.
So that's
Yeah.
what I'll
We
put down.
love that.
This is actually condom adjacent, the laundry detergent. Cruise we went on 5 years ago, we brought some liquids in unmarked bottles.
Our own little travel bottle.
Yes. And it was about halfway through the cruise where Austin was trying to wash some clothes with our laundry detergent, and he realized that he was trying to wash the clothes with lube. You get the other half.
Wow,
But
that
it
was
makes for a great...
Did the clothes survive?
The clothes were fine, and
They just
so was
slipped right
I.
off.
And so was she. We were able to use the laundry detergent as lube unbeknownst to us
Yeah,
for a
so,
little bit
right?
there. That was the...
Yeah, there's a nice.
Plant-based laundry detergent is great for lots of things.
Oh my gosh, love that.
So if you forget your lube and happen to have laundry
laundry
detergent,
Organic.
yeah,
Organic,
laundry
yeah.
detergent.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't just use, and also don't vice versa. Don't use laundry detergent as lube.
Yeah.
Not recommended.
Yeah, not recommended.
It's not the best.
Okay, Jamie, what is Austin's favorite excursion activity? So, Austin, you'll write down your favorite excursion activity.
If you were gonna do an excursion, what is? If you could only have one excursion for the rest of your travel.
Okay, all right, reveal them on 3. 1, 2, 3.
I did history/museums.
Visit a museum.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
We got a
Yeah.
civil union, non-civil union match.
Yay! It's a match.
Usually for trips, I love the natural history museums or the cultural history kind of stuff.
Nice.
So yeah, probably less on the art side of
Sure.
things. But no, I want to learn about where I'm at, basically.
Yeah,
and museums
totally.
are my favorite way to do that.
We did find our favorite sex toy at the Museum of Sex in New York.
Yes, that is true.
No, and
Yes,
would you mind
wait.
sharing
Did they
what
sell
it
it
is?
there?
They did well. They sold it there, but only in size medium,
And we needed to get
and
the
we
large
needed the
one.
XL.
So we
was
had
it?
to-
X-
It was
Oh.
XL. You're right.
It was
XL.
XL. But,
What is the? Can I ask what
So
the toy
it's
is?
one of these strapless strap-ons.
Oh.
So it's got a bulb for my
Oh,
end,
sure.
and a shaft for his end.
Oh, I love that.
And it has 3 motors. So
Yeah.
there's the motor up inside her. There's a little clit flicker as a part of
Wow.
it, and then also the head of the shaft has a motor in it.
Cool.
And individually controlled too. So yeah, strap on me.
I think so.
Yeah.
Also not sponsored.
Yeah, also not sponsored. District,
Or
maybe that
next,
can
yeah.
be like.
Next Reddit board.
Yeah, I mean, it probably is on your Reddit board.
Oh, it's been on a couple different Reddits.
Oh, that's it.
Oh, it has.
Okay, next question. Austin, what would be Jamie's biggest travel pet peeve? Or no?
Oh. Oh, what do I bitch the most about?
I need to know.
I think I've been consistently bitchy about this on many travel events.
I can make one up.
Yeah, there
Right?
you go.
3, 2, 1, reveal.
Bus rides.
I said lack of sleep.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Both true. But
Both
no,
are very true.
bus rides you definitely bitch the most about.
I do.
The sleep part is usually what I notice because then I have to deal
Right,
with
you have to be the one to be like, hey, halt.
You're halty.
Maybe you need to add
tell
a
me
B
what
to
I am.
halt. Maybe you need to add a B to halt, so
Yes.
that bus is a part of that.
Bus is
Yeah.
a part
Right.
of halting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't talk to me right now. I'm passenging.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Thank you so much for your openness and also truly being VACAYA in so many ways. And I can't express my gratitude that you both are here and that there's another, bi couple here. This is the goal. And I hope that, if maybe we should end on this question. Would you have any advice for people who maybe don't fit that classic, typical gay, cis, male box that might see this and be like, oh, maybe this is a space that I could occupy, but I just don't know about it? Any advice now that you've gotten a couple trips under your belt for them?
No, yeah, I mean, honestly, I have just been impressed with how obvious it is that VACAYA is trying. You're trying to create the space for everyone, and you're being very explicit about it, and that's awesome. Like, that was one of the things that was helpful for picking our first vacation with VACAYA is on your main page, the LGBT, right? The whole letter acronym was there.
Right.
It wasn't marketed as, gay cruise. That right there was a helpful thing. Like, so I don't know. I would say, just come in, try not to worry about, come in again, that kind of going back to what we said, like, come in for yourself. It's really freeing to go into a queer space, even if it's not your queer space. It's still escaping from the kind of, monogamous, heteronormative, like, if that has never been your vibe, come to a VACAYA trip. You'll get to experience something different at the very least, and I think you'll have a blast. So.
No, it's a fertile place here that just wants you to bring in your flavor of queer. Right. Very supportive. The very easy place to like kind of try on being a little bit more out, and this is me. Because it is like you'll find inquisitive people, but for the most part, just like want to get to know you. Like, what's your name? How can we be more approachable? I find a lot of acceptance and celebration here at VACAYA.
Yeah. Yay! I'm so happy to hear that.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks for
thanks for
us.
sharing.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We'll see y'all later. There's so much to unpack from that interview. And I'm wondering now that, Mexico was a few months ago, like, what was something that you really took away from our interview with Jamie and Austin?
I liked hearing how they communicate about their introvert and extrovert selves, because needing space, for me, as a self-identified neurospicy person, I can
Don't ever say that. That sounds so, like...
What do you mean?
Are you Gen Z as a self-identifying autistic person? That is crazy.
What do you mean? That's what is happening. Here's what I'll say. I'm very sensitive, so I get overstimulated. I take a lot in, so I need time to like be in control of my thoughts, because I just can consume so many details in every scenario that it's just like, it's exhausting. So like when Jamie and Austin talked about their differences in energy and how they
like recharge,
need individually and then come back recharged and then loving on each other after that.
Even if you're not a couple, but you're traveling with a friend, or
oh my God,
you're a solo traveler that's been paired with someone, because we do that, where it's like, if you want to come on a VACAYA trip, but you don't have anyone to travel with, there are ways that you can find someone to kind of share a room with. And I think that like, that's a great conversation to have, even just with friends, of like, how is it that you recharge? Like just very verbally, like kind of just talking
that is a
about
good question.
that.
How do
like,
you recharge?
I think I don't know how to recharge. I think that's my problem. I think that I need to work on it, because I don't know how to do that. And so I think that that's an important like takeaway from myself, is just like, okay, like, because I think that for me, like, I love people so much that is a way of recharging, that I don't also do a good job of, in those moments, making sure that I'm like filling up some of my needs and just making it not necessarily only about their needs. Or in fact, my therapist asked me that my last session. Literally, that was a conversation of like, well, what do you do to like rest and relax? And I literally was like, I guess watch Real Housewives.
Oh yeah.
But I'm still doing something.
Everything you do is hyper-stimulating.
Correct. 100%. Do I have ADHD? As a self-diagnosed neurospicy ADHD crazy person, I definitely don't know how to relax. No, I don't know. I can do a better job of relaxing. What I will say, what I took away from their interview was, what's nice about going on a VACAYA trip is that you can kind of choose your flavor of queer.
Yes.
And I think that that's kind of like a really fun way of looking at it, in that like, I feel like there's kind of this element of like choose your own adventure when it comes to VACAYA, of like whether you want to like hang out at the pool or whether you want to like go out on an excursion. But when you talk about like your flavor of queer, like it is very that. And like, you know, we've had guests now who never had been with someone who had biological female parts, and on these trips they open themselves up to the possibility of seeing what that might feel like or be like. And I think that is what's so incredible about creating these spaces, is that like you might have one idea of what your flavor of queer is, but then you're in a space where you can actually evolve it and experiment and it feel comfortable and safe.
Yeah.
And it gives you this kind of element of liberation and freedom that you might not necessarily have or get the opportunity to get back home.
And a good entry point to that, I feel like, are the resort trips, because
For sure.
they're very accessible. You're kind of planted in one spot, and you get to kind of play with the lay of the land in a more relaxed way, as opposed to a cruise is a little more involved, but like it's still just as fun in a different way, different flavors.
For sure. For this episode, we're going to end you with a little fun music video that we created, inspired and in honor of our camp-themed 2025 Mexico resort trip.
See you later.
Can you feel that vibe? Pool parties from day to night. Open seas to open minds. Taking a dive, I'm feeling alive.
LGBTQIA, pack your bags and sail away. Raise your glass and shout hooray. Celebrate being gay. LGBTQIA, loud and proud and always slay. Love is love, no other way. Celebrate with VACAYA. Hey!
VACAYA's 2025 Mexico resort trip is sold out, but we're already turning up the heat for 2026. We're taking over the brand new Unico resort for an all LGBT plus luxury getaway that you won't want to miss. Rooms are going fast, so secure yours and learn more at vacaya.com.